Hello, everybody. It's about that time. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Here we have 11 Below Brewing. These guys are down in Texas. I have had several beers sent to me by Brandon C., and he is the same fellow that has sent me this one. Thank you, Brandon, my brother. I do appreciate the beers that you send me. Nice beer mail package I got from him. Very tasty beers that come from out of Texas. There are a lot of very nice beers coming out of that wonderful state. This is 11 Below Brewing's Big Mistake. And what this is a barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout. And this thing is a pretty big beer. It says here, barrel-aged stout, 2017 edition, and on this particular can, it says 11.5% ABV, and IBUs, it says here it's 63, it looks like. So, I bet this is going to be a tasty beer, I really do. On the bottom there is nothing written, so the only inclination of how old the beer is just the 2017 written here on the bottom of the bottom of the front of the can here. I don't know whether it was done in January of 2017, mid-year, June, July, or November, December. I don't know when in 2017 this was actually done. Without having a little bit more information, like the month. Day is not critical. We don't know what we don't necessarily need to know what day of the month, but the month would help to let us know whether it was beginning of the year, mid-year, end of the year. So I would like to know that, just for my references, to know how old the beer is in the can. Is it a year old, or is it a month old? Or 2 months old here, where this is the 2nd of February, so it does have 2017 in it, and it's barrel aged. How long did it sit in the barrels? Don't know that information either. So, and actually, Rate Beer has this at 12.30%, which is not correct for this particular beer. So evidently they've done it more than once, and this particular version is in the 11% range as opposed to the 12. Untapped has it at 11.5%, and I think that's what I said this one was. Yes, 11.5%. So Untapped's got it right. They don't have the IBUs there, and I don't understand that. It's written on the damn can. Why don't y'all have that listed on your site? Commercial description from Untapped says, "We think the worst is behind us now that our 2nd anniversary is here, only to find ourselves in the terrible twos. Hide the matches, buy some padlocks, say a prayer, and stock up on 2017 Big Mistake, an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon and rye whiskey barrels from Yellow Rose Distilling in Houston." So, sounds pretty tasty to me, guys. Like I said, I don't know how long they left it in the barrels, where they're going to get those huge off-the-chain bourbon notes on this one, or it's going to be kind of blended smoothly together, where nothing is overpowering anything else in the beer. Well, final beer of the evening for me on this particular one, guys. We've got the commercial description. 2017 is all the information as far as dating, 11.5%, and I gave you the IBU, so we got the 3 bits of information. I just would like to know what part of the year it was done. So really not super critical. We got the year, so that's the best we're going to be able to do on this one. So let's get this thing popped open. We've talked all we need to talk, so let's start pouring and sipping. What do you think? Looking pitch black coming out of here, guys. While I'm pouring this, I'll tell you, food pairing says general chocolate dessert digestive. Glassware, the pint backer, 9 tumbler snifter. I got my favorite tulip glass. It says here it can be solid for a long period of time. It doesn't mention any kind of coffee being used in the brewing of this beer, which would fade over time. Would be a reason why you could not or should not cellar it very long. So let's see what we have here, guys. Poured it pretty aggressive, didn't get hardly any head, not even covering the top of the beer. Over into the light, it is pretty dark, guys. I'm not getting any hints of any light through it. So looks pretty typical for a Russian Imperial Stout. Pretty dark beer. To the nose we go. Yep, I am getting big bourbon notes on this, guys. Big time. Really big time. Big bourbon notes on this one. This is pretty heavy on the bourbon notes. Off the chain just about. Big time. Roasted malt. I am getting some alcohol on the aroma, but I just poured it, and that's probably going to subside as it sits in the glass and as I sip on it. Maybe a little bit of some woodiness, oak woodiness in there. Some black molasses or licorice or tobacco. Not getting a lot of dark fruit right now, but that may open up and come to light as it comes to room temperature and as I sip on it. Big time bourbon whiskey notes though. Let's dive in. Cheers everybody. Cheers Brandon. Oh, that's tasty. Little bit of coconut in there. I am getting some slight hint of some coffee on the taste. That's delicious. That really is tasty. If you're not a bourbon or a whiskey fan, I don't drink that stuff anymore. So I have to rely on my beers that are barrel aged in either bourbon or whiskey barrels to get that aspect of my beers, and I do like it. I really, really do. This is pretty damn tasty. It really is. Very impressive right now. But there is some booziness to it. I'm not going to lie to you. Fresh out of the can here, poured into the glass. But a lot of times that subsides as it comes up to room temperature and as I sip on it. So let's do that. Let me sip on it for a little while, see what we end up with, let her taste it, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm been sipping on it for a little while. The booziness, or the alcohol has not subsided. Probably a, fairly fresh beer. This would be a good candidate to cellar for a while. I do find it a little hot. It's not burning or anything like that, but it is a little strong on the boozy side. I'm not off-put by that. Some people may be. I have had a lot bigger beers than this, and the alcohol wasn't quite as strong, but it is what it is. I did enjoy it. I found it a very tasty beer. Still not getting a whole lot of dark fruit because the alcohol is so strong. It's masking all of that if it's there. And to be honest about it, it's just as boozy, and I hate to use that word. It's 11.5%. I mean, you're not drinking a 4.5% or 5% session beer. This is a big boy's beer. This is a beer to have at home, or have a designated driver if you are having it out somewhere other than home. So I did enjoy it, even though it's a little heavy on the booze. The alcohol is definitely a little stronger than I think it could be if it was blended a little bit better or made a little bit better or whatever. Evidently they left it in the bourbon barrels or the whiskey barrels for quite a long time, and it absorbed all that up. Probably first time beer had been in those barrels. But I like it. I mean, I really like this. And there's a lot of people that don't like bourbon or whiskey. You're probably not going to like this, and this is heavy with the bourbon. I mean, if it's a school bus, it's taking up half the seats. There's that much bourbon alcohol notes on this beer. So, but I like it. But I like it. Wouldn't be my first choice for the first beer of the evening. But for the final beer of the evening, yeah, I ain't got to do nothing but walk down the hallway and fall down. So let's do the final joke. My honest opinion, I think the alcohol booziness is masking a lot of other taste and flavors that you would probably get if it wasn't so strong with the alcohol and the booziness of it. Like I said, I think it's probably a great candidate to sell for a couple of years, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years. And it doesn't always subside. I mean, I've had beers that I've sold 5 years, and they're just as boozy after 5 years as they was fresh or hot. But sometimes it does. So it just depends. I think they could have let this in the barrels a little less or a little shorter time than what they've let this one for it to be just a tad more enjoyable because the bourbon whiskey notes are just overpowering everything right now. But honestly, I did enjoy it. I did like this beer. And I'm going to give it my grade accordingly. It's just my opinion. I think it's an A- beer, guys, and that's where I'm going to put it. 92 from me on this one. I did like it. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 4.25. That's in their A- range also. Agreed. That's where I'm putting it also. And over to Untappd, they have it at 4.2 again. You got to grade these guys on a curve. So that is their A- to A scale, somewhere in between right there. So let's just say, for the benefit of the doubt, that it's their A- scale, not quite to their A scale. So unanimous, yeah, that's what we'll say. It's unanimous. A- all the way around, guys, on this one. If you've had this one from 11 Below Brewing, this is their 2017 edition of their Big Mistake, which is a barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout. I liked it. A little heavy on the booze, of course. I think I may have said that maybe 10 times already, but I did enjoy it. I think it could be a little bit more balanced than what it is, but it is what it is. So, that being said, if you've had this one, let me know what you think, guys. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.